What is the process for coming to this decision vis-a-vis 2340A?
Process for coming to any determination under any criminal statute is that facts come to the attention of the department that warrant an investigation. As of now, so far as I'm aware, John Durham's investigation is into the destruction of the tapes. That may very well engage the question of what was on the tapes, if what was on the tapes was something that is barred by the torture statute. That is several removes.
Couldn't you and I, but for the non-classified nature of this particular setting, engage in a very concrete and factual discussion about subject matter that would at least give cause for inquiry?
We could engage in a discussion. It would not be a concrete and factual discussion because we would be talking about if this, if that, if the other.
In a classified setting.
In a classified setting. That's all
it
we
may
would be
or may
talking
not
about.
be if.
Beg pardon?
In a classified setting, it may or may not be an if.
I'm not entirely sure what that suggests.
Well, I'm trying to be careful not to step outside of the boundaries that I'm obliged to pursue, to honor here, of not disclosing classified information. At the same time, I'm trying to get some more information because I don't think it's fair to say that nobody has any basis from anywhere. I mean, just read the New York Times, read the Washington Post, read what people have said on television. There's been a former CIA official who's been on the airwaves. If that's not enough to at least open the first red flag as to whether an inquiry should go forward, I don't know what on earth could be. And if so that answer to me is just totally not credible. So then the question is, where do we stand? Because I think anybody who even has a public view of what's going on would suggest that there's something that might at least merit the beginning of inquiry as to whether an investigation might be opened.
All of that depends on whether certification was given, whether permission was given, and whether it was permissibly relied on, and it should not turn on one person's current view of what the statute requires or doesn't require, because if it does, the message is it all changes.
But aren't there two questions here? There is no exemption under 2340A, depending on whether the conduct was authorized by a supervisory official or not. There is no Nuremberg defense built into this criminal statute. So if you were to apply it, it would strike me that you would want to apply it not before an investigation has taken place, but once an investigation had reached a point where you were able to say, okay, here's what we think took place, here is whether or not it's in violation, and here's the legal analysis as to whether or not mens rea is adequate given the nature of the authorization. But it strikes me that you're telling me that nothing in that process is taking place because the certification alone obviates any further inquiry irrespective of how developed the facts are. And I'm just trying to get, which is this? Is it there aren't facts well developed? That doesn't seem credible. Is it because there's authorization, we're not going to look at this no matter what? If that's your position, fine, but let's just say so, and then I'll understand.
That's not my position.
What is your position?
My position is that there is an ongoing investigation and that I'm not going to speculate on what might or might not have happened, particularly with regard to authorizations.
But the ongoing investigation, as far as we know, is only into the destruction of tapes. It has nothing to do with the underlying interrogation, unless you're telling me that that's the forum. Is that the forum in which this will get decided?
That is in part dependent on what John Durham's investigation shows.
Well, let's hypothesize that a little further. If it shows that waterboarding and took place...
Let's not hypothesize anything.
Well, there are only two choices. It's not going to take us a long time to discuss the alternatives that either did or didn't.
It's not a question of it taking a long time. It's a question of telling agents out there that we are investigating the CIA based on speculation about what happened and whether they got proper authorizations. And I don't think that ought to be the message.